Hello, Anna.
Hello, Sabina.
Here we are again for our summer recording in the Circle of Beings series, talking about summer and the element of fire. So we have to confess that we are a bit late coming to this. The Celtic summer started with the 1st of May and it actually ended on the 2nd of August. But as we all know, summer in Europe has been very extreme this year, and the heat and the fire and the passion had us going so much longer, and we had lots of adventures along the way as well. So we are actually already in autumn. But hindsight is wonderful, so we are going to bring you lots of personal insights about our summer 22 and also, the general summer. Usually, I think the two of us and a lot of people equate summer with happy, easy days on the beach, lazing in the sunshine, going to open-air festivals. We feel a buzz and alive because, nature around us is a buzz, filled with colour, lots of light, fueled with the fire of our passion. And truth be told, I think if we say sultry nights, steamy nights, sound much more better than cold and icy nights. We wear less clothes, windows and doors are wide open, we spend so much time outside, we think of our holidays, and we experience, or we think we will experience, a lightness of being. This is what we equate to when we think of summer. Summer energy is all about joie de vivre, abundance, full bloom, radiance. In short, it actually symbolizes the peak of being.
Yes. Summertime. And summer is also connected to the element of fire. And fire is a very strong element, and it's the first one. Every creation starts with fire element. It's the beginning of the universe, the Big Bang. Also the astrology starts with fire. And of course summer, when I think about summer, it's also the sun, and sun is actually also a fire, and it provides life. It gives vitality, transformation and growth, and all the other elements wouldn't actually exist without sun. And especially in summer, everything feels stronger, everything feels much more intense, and when it's really, really hot outside, we feel the desire, and we would like to sense auch the other elements, not only fire. We would like to jump into the water and just to feel the wind of our face and body, and enjoy just lying on the warm earth, and that's so amazing. Fire is a provider of beginning. It's a father, it's a leader, and it has the power to give guidance, passion, motivation, inspiration, and it gives everything what we need to be successful, to start a process, to start something new, and also to achieve our goals. So when you have a great idea, it feels sometimes like you get struck of lightning. It's I think about falling in love. It's always a very special moment when you feel this excitement, and you feel so powerful, you feel passionate and full of vitality. And this is also how it is when you get a good idea. It's also you are totally out of control, and you feel so so strong and powerful. But when you deal with fire, you have to trust. You have to trust and follow it, because fire is a leader, and fire can make you fear. And but it's about empowering others and do their best and take on new challenges. And fire is also a strong element, and it means it gives strong contrast. So you have to find a way how to move between the contrast, between the light and the darkness, between the warm and cold, and just find a way how to work with it.
Yes, and like Anna was alluding to, obviously fire also brings destruction, or too much light can be blinding, or too much passion can burn us out. And then we burn out, and like the moths around the flame, we fly into a flame, and whoops, down we go. And we all know that our personal dramas do not go on holiday, but they can strike whenever they can. And we both had our own dramas throughout the summer. Which is also why we're a bit late, because, when drama strikes and you need time to heal and get over them. So we also actually want to tell you, how or what we apply from the toolkits we each have to heal again and to get better. But so this year really showcased a summer which turned into the extreme. Nature was thrown out of balance totally. Like I said, we can get thrown out of balance. There's so much drought. Here around Berlin, there was always heat warnings and fire warnings, and Brandenburg, the forests in Brandenburg are so tinder dry that if you would throw a match, everything would burn to smithereens. And too much heat is so paralyzing, I find. It affects our mental and physical abilities. The nights are too hot to sleep. The days are too hot to move around or think clearly. And cities are super debilitating in heat waves. And you notice how important trees and forests are. If I walk to work and I walk along one stretch where there are no trees, and then there's another road where there are trees, and you see how important it is for city planning to really get their act together and, plan far more trees to produce shade or to provide shade. And how essential water is. Gosh, if we hadn't noticed beforehand, obviously we have, but water is so important. And obviously water is the opposite to fire. And so if we overheat, it makes sense to jump in the water, right? If you can. So too much of a good thing also waxes out of balance. And just like nature, we are in a constant shuffle between falling out and back into balance. And actually, on a perfect summer day, without any dramas and in a perfect world, it would be so easy to balance ourselves out by just going to a water's edge by a river, by the beach, or here, obviously in Berlin, we are surrounded and we are so blessed. We have so many lakes. We can jump into any lake any time of the day and any different lake. Because you have the warmth of the sun, you have the water of the lake or the river, you have a light breeze in the air, and you have the earth beneath you, like you also said earlier, Anna. And isn't that also why, when it's a warm day, we all flock to the seaside? Mm-hmm. Like in England, everybody goes to the beach. The beaches in England nowadays look like Rimini used to look. And here as well, you go to a lake and oh my God, if you're not early, you hardly find a space.
Yeah, in Poland we say also when you go to the beach or to the lake in the summer, it's like you are in the doors for the sardines.
Like sardines, yes, yeah. Exactly. And there we all are. And, have you ever seen an unhappy child on the beach or by the lake? Everybody's happy. I mean, even the most grumpiest person is happy. Kids run around, people play their music, you're lying in the sun, you're reading a book, and you bury your toes in the sand, and everybody's immersed in just being. And we are so in our element then. And we feel vivacious and joyous, and we just eating ice cream makes us happy, and eating crisps makes us happy. And you're happy. So it's actually very simple. So why is it so easy to forget the above when times get rough? I constantly ask myself, because I forget the simplest things.
It's mostly like this.
No.
The simplicity of life. It's so simple sometimes, but it's so easy to forget, or it's... Yeah. And summer is a wonderful time, and it's a happy time for sure, but it's also like, especially this year, it was quite dangerous. We had also a lot of fire in Berlin, and it was a very intense time. When we deal with fire, it is also a process. It's important to find a distance and to learn how you can dose it, because by fire especially, it's like the border is very easy to... How can I say it?
So you mean you need to know the limitations?
You need to know the limitation, because it's very tricky.
Yeah.
And for example, it was like in this summer I was on the boat, and it was a very nice day, but it wasn't so super sunny, but we had no shade on the boat, and I felt okay, but there was one point when I felt the burn on my skin and I felt weak, and after this I got a sunstroke for the first time, and it was quite difficult. It was really I get fever, I was extremely weak, I was just extremely tired, and I slept a lot. So it's also a time when we are looking for a shelter, and it's nice to be outside, but sometimes it's so important to find a place where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable, and this year it was quite it was also quite difficult for me in my spending time in my studio, because my studio is in the south side, so it's and I have windows on the whole wall, so it's extremely warm, and the walls they
retain
the heat, and when you are in this room you feel the temperature out in the room is much higher than your own body temperature, and this is such a difficult state, because you actually, there is a state where you can't concentrate, you can move yourself, you can do nothing. So but it was also really interesting to get the distance and to watch how it works, because it gave me a lot of struggle, it gave me a lot of doubts. I was totally sad, I felt the desire, I wanted to work on a series of painting about fire element, but it was and I felt, it's exactly this what I need to feel the heat around me and to create the paintings. But it wasn't. Everything was disaster. So I spent a lot of time to create disaster, and at least I had to take a break, and it was the best thing ever. And then what was interesting, after the break, the energy came, and I paint many paintings at once. So it was really like you when you have fire element, you just have to find out how you can deal with it, because sometimes you can be very slowly, but sometimes you feel the energy, you feel the right moment, and you can do many things at the right time and to achieve a lot of in a very easy way.
Yeah. Yes, it is a funny time, summer, because I always so look forward to summer. And funnily enough, I can actually cope with disaster much better in the summertime. And I've experienced this now twice, so I think I can say that for me, dealing with disasters in the summer are easier. So 2 years ago, my mum died in the summer, and this year my stepdad fell into a clinical depression. Whilst all along, actually, this year, everything was going really well for me. So it wasn't something that was to do with me, but it was obviously my vicinity, and I felt I'd also just emerged from a dark winter myself, facing my own private challenges, and I was full of beans looking to kickstart my life again, and suddenly I was totally responsible for my stepdad. And it sort of, I had to take out a power of attorney. I had to totally be in charge. He wanted to move. He was in the middle of moving abroad. I spent 3 months of super tough emotional and also physical hard work, moving him, taking care of all his administration, and I just totally wiped myself out. I knew it, and I had a hire car. I scratched the hire car badly, and at that time I knew, oh my God, I'm just really at the end of my own tether. And my anxiety came back and all sorts. So I knew what I had to do, but obviously when you're in the middle of this turmoil, so you're totally burning out. I started with my meditations, but it was tough, and I didn't have the energy to do exercise, and I could sort of journal a little bit. But then you get nearer and nearer to your own total limitation. And what brought me back to myself was just what started to bring me back to myself was just having a week off. And I just sat outside. Luckily, it wasn't too hot at the time. I sat in a sun lounger for about, I think it was 4 days in a row. I didn't do anything. I didn't exercise. I did meditate and I did journal a bit. But most of all, I watched the butterflies and the bees flit from flower to flower. And I was so then enthralled by all the colour around me, by all the life around me. And that slowly, crept back into myself. And I watched the clouds, and suddenly and slowly, there's a beautiful word in German, Lebensgeister. Your Lebensgeister return. It's your life spirits, and it's I love that word. It's your Lebensgeister. It's like we have spirits of life within us, and they returned, and that was great. So I was outside and I was in the abundant nature, and that really helped me, and it soothed stresses and strains. But then I fell out of balance again. And I thought, how is this possible? I was better, I was calmer, but suddenly I thought, oh my God, I'm going to miss out on summer. Yeah. There's, oh my God, it's already end of July. I've only been swimming a couple of times. Oh, there's all these open air festivals. There's all this going on. I haven't, oh my God, I need to go there. I need to do this. And I totally went the other way. And there was all this heat, and there was all this energy within me. And I had not listened to my inner voice, which was urging me to go swimming. It constantly said, Sabina, go swimming, go swimming. It's so easy. You jump in the car and 20 minutes you're at the lake. And And suddenly I went swimming. And then it was just fantastic. And then I thought, wow, you know, the sheer bliss of just going for a swim. And then we went swimming. Every second evening we went swimming. And I started to do exercise again. So I got out all this excess energy out of my system. I got the excess heat out of my system by going swimming. And I reminded myself, gosh, it's just so simple, but it's so difficult to apply when we're in the midst of it. And that's, you know, what we're trying to figure out is how to get back in your groove the quickest way. You know, we all fall out of balance, but how do we get back into balance? And there's another nice German saying, it's, ich muss mit meinen Energien haushalten. It means I have to manage my energies. And it's so true, isn't it? We have to manage our energies in whichever way, because we mostly think about managing our energies when we have too little, but sometimes we have too much, and that's not good either. And it's like you were saying with the fire, you know, sort of my story is like an account of what you were saying about, you know, being very mindful of fire and of too much light, and we can burn ourselves and we can burn out, we burn too little, and it's just how to feed the fire that you have a nice constant flame without burning down the house.
It's quite challenging to have the constant flame, to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, because it's so fast and you are totally out of control.
Yeah.
And also when you talk about the German words, I really like the word Leidenschaft.
Yes.
And Leidenschaft is also a word which it means passion, but in the word itself, has also struggle.
Yes, suffering.
Yes. And this is actually what's especially for this time, what's very present.
Yeah.
It's very joyful, but it's also at the other side, you feel struggle, you feel fear, you feel low of energy, and you can feel down very fast. And this is nice to connect it to the word Leidenschaft, but also to the element of fire, because it is exactly this word. The act of creation is also the act of destruction, and the element of fire. It has also the opposites. It's everything is when you have a lot of light, you have also a lot of darkness. But when you are aware of these 2 points, you can work on the constant flame.
Yes, but you know, the thing probably is that there's never a constant flame, and life would be very dull if it was. So I think it's getting, you know, it's just, life is always going to have dramas. But I'd like to sort of say, you know, dramas in a way are adventures, aren't they? Because if we keep curious, and if we keep very aware of ourselves, you know, we realize when we're going either way. And it's the curiosity of then understanding, you know, why am I now going that way, or why have I got too much energy or too little energy, or why am I burning myself out? What is the reason behind it? And then we get an understanding, and then we can go forward, and we can move into, we can accept all these adventures that we pass through in our life, you know, because no life is without adventures and challenges. It would be super boring if it was. But it's just how to, you know, how to keep our passion going and our Leidenschaft going, and to go through the suffering, to come back into joy, and to ride all these helter-skelter roller coasters, and not let, you know, to always rise like the phoenix from the ashes, I guess. So we in a sense burn out and then we rise again, and it's just this, I think that's what maybe sums up nicely your circle of being as well, because we go down the rabbit hole and we come back out the other side.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, I mean, we've had a beautiful summer, even though it was too hot, and we have drought, and we really need to be very mindful of the climate change. So summer wasn't that much fun in a sense, because we know what's coming, and it ain't funny. But we are in early autumn, and you can really feel it already. The nights are drawing in. The nights are colder or cooler, which is good. And the days are actually very calm. That's also very nice about early autumn. Calm days, warm afternoons. And everything sort of calms down a little bit, because we're heading more and more into the water element. And it's a time of harvest and reflection. And fire moves into water. But we'll talk about that another time. But we won't let it be so long. We'll try and talk about water when it's still water. We have till the end of October to manage that.
So it's quite soon.
It is.
Actually,
2 months.
Actually, yes.
2 months. 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
Sounds good.
So let's look forward to many adventures. And, you know, when we spoke, I remember when we spoke about spring. And, I mean, neither of us could have foreseen or had any inkling, you know, what would happen in just these brief other months. And so much has gone on in my life. And, you know, I started one job, then I'm now going to start another job. And, you know, things with yourselves, you have so many new projects. And, you know, when we were talking in March, we just thought, oh, it's spring and, you know, here we come. And things change so quickly.
Yeah, actually, I have the feeling I'm super happy now and powerful. My butter is high because I spent a lot of time outside, and I was working also outside. But the summertime, it was so fast. It was really like super quick time, and now it's gone. And it was such an intense time, and I focused on the element fire, lived an intense life, working on many projects parallel. So when you are so busy, of course, the time going very fast. And I'm really, really excited and happy about what's coming, and just using this time to finish my paintings, to finish the season of summer and element of fire in the project Circle of Being. It's just a huge blessing to see all the elements together, and the creation of the year, and all the experience and our conversations. Very touching.
Yes. So now to end, as we always do with our cards.
Okay.
So choose a number between 1 and 11.
4.
4. Focus. You picked focus. Practice meditation and mindfulness to strengthen your focus. Your affirmation is, I am fully focused on the task in hand.
Wow. That's good. I like it. And you?
I choose 10. I cheated, but I think it's such a nice one. It's the supermoon.
Okay.
And I think it's a nice way to end, because the supermoon card tells us that our intention is always to do the best we can. And, you know, when we do the best we can, it doesn't mean we're perfect, but we do the best we can in any given situation. And that fills us with great strength and ease. And it fills us also with great trust in ourselves. And I think that's the affirmation to that is effortlessly I flow with the energies of the universe. And I like that.
I like it too.
So we flow into the water.
So we flow into the water, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Sabina, and thank you for listening us. It's just a huge happiness and joy to share our observation about summer, about the element of fire, and life. And yeah.
Yes. And it's all good.
Good. So have a lovely time and thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.